Members, we come call Andrew Little.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to take a brief call on this part of the Crown Minerals Permitting Crown Land Bill and the amendments to the Wildlife Act, because, Mr. Speaker, that piece of legislation is not widely known, but certainly not a widely known piece of legislation, and it's been around for a long time, but it's an important piece of legislation and goes hand in hand, or hand in glove, or hand in paw perhaps, with many other important conservation and environmental parts of legislation that we have in this country. And so it has served us well without too much fiddling around for a long time. So when we are presented with amendments to the Wildlife Act in the context of legislation covering mining and minerals and exploration and the production processes associated with them, then we need to look carefully and somewhat askance, I would have thought, at the measures before we blindly go ahead and support them. And I note, sir, that the principal amendment that's being made, which is to Section 9 of the Wildlife Act, is to change the references to proclamation to the term by order in council on the recommendation of the Minister. And herein lies the very same problem we've seen in other parts of the bill that my colleagues Ruth Dyson and Moana Mackie have spoken about eloquently and with conviction, I might add, in a way that we don't often see in speeches about the Wildlife Act. And I just want to reiterate the concern that we have, sir, which is about the traducing of the rights of the Minister of Conservation that is redolent throughout this bill at a time when our country, we talked in the House only earlier this afternoon about the prospect of a million Chinese tourists coming down here on the basis of marketing ourselves as a clean green nation, a nation that presents to the world its conservation estate, its flora and its fauna as a selling point. And that has historically been protected by the Minister of Conservation with the powers that that Minister has. But they are being undermined by so many parts of this legislation, and in no less a way in Part 5 and with the amendments to the Wildlife Act. And so it's for that reason that, as with the other parts of the Act, when it comes to Part 5, we express great concern about that and caution, or advise to the House great caution when proceeding with changes of this nature. So it's for that reason, sir, that we are opposing not just the other parts of this bill, but Part 5 in particular, and the unnecessary fiddling around with of parts of the Wildlife Act 1953, which I know has been very important to not just to many New Zealanders, but importantly to the rangers, the Department of Conservation rangers, even with their remodelled department now and their revised job descriptions and the processes that change processes that they will be undergoing. So, sir, on that basis, we express great caution and reluctantly opposition to these particular changes in this otherwise innocuous piece of legislation, the Wildlife Act 1953.
Members, we come to the vote on Part 5. First, we have the Minister's amendments as set out on SOP number 210. The question is that the Minister's amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Ayes have it. Ayes have it.
Party votes called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes against.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 59. The amendments are agreed to. The question is, a Part 5 as amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 59. Part 5 as amended will stand part. We now move to the schedules. The first is 1A. We have the Minister's amendments as set out on